Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. We're here with the Vox Pathfinder 10B, B meaning bass. And yeah, it's quite the neat little amp. It's 180 bucks at Long McQuaid in Canada. I got mine actually for 120 from them. Well, $119.99, you know the deal, right? 120, it's a cyber penny. But anyways, it was on for 119 because it was a used amp. So, and it's in perfect condition, so hey, I can't say no. 10 watts of power, two 5-inch Vox Bulldog speakers at 4 ohms. You've got an input jack, an output, which is headphone / LINEOUT combo. You do have controls like drive, treble, bass, volume, and bright switch. And I am going to be playing through my Epiphone EBOSG, which has a sidewinder humbucker in the neck only position because we do not have a bridge pickup in this guitar. However, I think I'm going to want to get a bass that has one. Anyways, I've been looking at basses, so I'll find something. Now, keep in mind, guys, I really suck bad at playing bass right-handed, okay? I am teaching myself this. I'm a left-handed guitar player. I can play bass actually reasonably well, lefty, but righty, that's a whole other story. But there's not a whole lot of short scale basses even for right-handed people, and there's like maybe a very maybe 2 or 3 tops, I think, for lefties. There's just not much, especially in the short scale side. There's really not much for left or right-handed people for short scale. And I do better with a short scale because of the reach of my fingers and how they stretch and length of fingers. I'm actually more comfortable with a short scale. And anyways, so let's put some sound to this. I've got the drive at 9 o'clock, treble and bass are at 12, volume's at 12, bright switch is turned off currently. Basically what we're going to get out of all 4 strings are. Let's turn the bright on. So what I'm going to have to do is pick my notes while we're doing this. I'm going to start out with the G string. So we don't get a lot of tone control unless we have the bright on. Then we get a lot of tone capability, so that's actually good. We can actually get some highs out of this sucker. Everybody calls this pickup in this guitar a mudbucker. It's a sidewinder humbucker, okay? The only thing muddy about it, it's in the neck position. What guitar is not muddy in the neck position? Have some mud to them. Some have more than others, that's all. Anyways, so let's bring the volume up around 3 o'clock and we'll leave the drive alone. So this is not an amp that's gonna, piss off your neighbors. It's not going to vibrate the walls apart or anything. So yeah, I mean, it's 10 watts, right? I imagine if you took the wires off the back of the speakers and went to an actual bass cab, make it turn this thing basically into a head, right? I'm sure there's a mod. Wow, there's always mods. But you have to have the right ohmage output too. So, and these are 4 ohm speakers, so I'm not sure how it works on the single line or how it's wired yet. I haven't looked at the wiring inside, so but either way, I'm sure you could put like a cutoff jack so it would cut off the internals and then go to a cab, and then you could really thump the thing. A lot of guys have actually modded Katana amps with a cutoff switch to cut off the internal to go to a cab. Works beautiful. I'm sure we could do that mod to this, which come to think of it, I think that might be probably a fun project. But 10 watts of power is, you know, that's based on everything dimed, right? So let's just go half and half on everything. Yeah, so half drive, half volume. Again, keep it easy in the comments. I already know I suck at doing this. It'll take time. I'll get better, I promise. So I didn't want an amp that was like really throbby and loud and obnoxious. So I thought this would be a great idea. And for the 120 for a used one, that's great. 180 new, that's actually pretty good too. It is Vox after all. They are really good. I have the Vox Bug right now, a little bit. You might think, you might say, I have a Black Star itch too. So there you go. So anyways, let's give this thing a little bit more. So drive at half and volume at 3 o'clock. So this is the kind of tonal response you can expect out of a neck pickup. I don't have a bridge pickup in this guitar. It's an EBO. It's not designed with one. I do want a bass though that has a bridge pickup. So I'm looking at basses because I have to be really picky on what I get, just because I'm playing right-handed and there's not a lot of short scale choices out there that have multiple pickups, let alone short scales period. Even for the right-handed world, there is not much for any of us. Left-handed, it's even worse. I think I've only ever seen 1 or 2 short scale basses, and that's it. One's by Ibanez, I can't remember the other, but the Ibanez one, Long McQuaid can't get it in for me for some reason yet. They're an Ibanez dealer, but Ibanez, I guess, doesn't want to let that one out of the States, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's weird, I don't know. But, so I figured, you know what, go right-handed. There are more choices, right-handed short scales. I got my eyes actually out on a Jackson right now, which is actually more of a kid-sized thing. It's still a short scale, but it's got a smaller body, obviously, and it's got a lot more pickups in it, and so I'm going to be able to create different tones. So I think I might pick that up as my next bass and last bass, because yeah, I don't need like basses coming out my yin yang here. But anyway, so let's just cut that volume back. Actually, I want to cut it to 9 o'clock. Bring the drive up. Yeah, let's stop it around 3 o'clock on the drive. So we can get some distortion out of this thing real easily. And we can feedback it. Turns out, by the way, in case you didn't know, the Sidewinder pickups in the EBO series, or EB series, E1, so whatever. Anyways, Sidewinder pickup is not a potted waxed pickup. It's microphonic. You can talk through it and hear yourself. There's no sealant on the pickup. So I've actually thought maybe I should wax dip this sucker, because I have the paraffin wax here. Project for another day though. But anyways, let's bring the volume back to half. Drives at around, oh, it's about 10 o'clock or so. So if you want to keep this amp really clean, I'd pull the drive back, and then you can raise the volume from there. And then slowly bring the drive up. That's pretty good there. So I know you guys like hearing things full blast, so I am going to show you a little bit of how bad this thing sounds with everything dimed. So volume, it will be dimed, and the gain. This is going to be nasty. Give me an idea what not to do? That is not cool. So It's only going to stay sounding pleasing to the ear so far. Microphonic pickup doesn't help either, and I even shoved myself 5 feet back, and yeah. So, I would probably say good sweet spot is actually about middle on the volume and drive it around 10-ish. Maybe bring the volume up around 2. Kind of breakies a little bit, but full volume. This amp would definitely sound a lot better if I had a bridge pickup in this thing, but I don't. So we'll have to wait until Kevy can afford another bass, and which is going to be a while because I'm like done right now. Maybe closer to the summer, I'll probably pick up that Jackson bass I've been looking at, because the amp is definitely going to do a lot nicer even at higher volumes if you have a bridge pickup in your bass. But when you're on the neck pickup on any bass, it's going to be very throbby, and it'll tend to break up a lot sooner too, so you won't be able to get away with the same volume levels. But anyways, the bright control does work rather well. So I have no issues with that. The treble, you hear more of the treble when the bright is on. So let's turn off the bright. So not a whole lot of treble, but it is there when the bright's off. When the bright's on, we definitely have a lot more. So I think it does have definitely its limitations for the built-in speakers. I think hooking up a jack box that would bypass the internals and go to an external cab, this amp would definitely shine a lot more with a better, bigger speaker, right? 2 5s are only going to do so much justice, right? But I am not going to say that the amp is bad, because it's not. It's a really nice amp. It does sound really good, even with this bass, but we got to watch the levels or it starts to break up too much and kind of sounds a little ugh, right? So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at this amp. But this amp will definitely also sound a lot better if you have bridge pickup, which is something we don't have on the EBO bass. We just have that sidewinder in the neck. So, but I mean, I don't need to crank this thing up anyways. I can keep the amp running nice and clean and do what I need to do. Practice, right? Which I need a lot of. I get it, right? So this is going to work for that, because I don't always want to hook into the studio stuff to do this. I've been doing that since I got the bass. But it's kind of like, well, I got to turn on my mixer, I got to flick switches here and there on my controller box to go through my reference monitors, and it sounds great even at louder volumes too, but I want the practice amp. And this way too, I could take this thing out on the front deck in the summer, plug it into my hydro out there and play outside and go bass happy, you know what I mean? I can't do that with my studio gear, you know what I mean? It's just not moving. So, yeah, for a small practice amp and not overdriving the crumb out of it, it's definitely a really good amp. I think that Vox should have probably gone with maybe like a 6.5 or even going into an 8-inch. You could actually get an 8-inch in this. Actually, a channel that I watch on YouTube, he's got the guitar amp version, which comes with a single 6. I think it's a 6 or a 6.5. I think it's 6.5 in that one. Have to double check my specs. Anyways, a little bit of a modification. Even he said, the hole could be bigger to support an 8-inch properly. But he did put an 8-inch speaker in it, and it actually really did sound really good. So you could essentially, maybe do something with this, but you'd have to make a new panel because this is 2 5s, so you can't really slam an 8 in the middle and expect it to be really all that better, right? But if you made a new panel for the inside, cut an 8-inch hole for it, you'd have to do a slight modification on the one bracing inside just to get that 8-inch in there, and I'll bet you that would be one heck of a, you know, amp, you know. But I think it'd be a lot less hassle to just wire up a jack bypass box and go into a bass cabinet, you know, like a 4x10 or something like that, 4x12, or even a 1 or 2x10x12, whatever you want to do kind of thing. It's 10 watts, you know, but I mean, as it sits though, it's a great little amp. The sound, like I said, as long as we don't push things too much with that, you know, Sidewinder, humbucker, mudbucker, it doesn't break up, you know, until you kind of get to that limit where it's like, you know. So no, you're not going to gig with this thing. You're not going to keep up with well, you could keep up with a Beat Buddy pedal easy enough. I mean, I can do that in here, you know, all too easily. But to play with an acoustic drummer, forget it. Ain't gonna happen. You're gonna get thrown out in the mix too fast. So it's just not that kind of an amp. It's a practice amp. It's Vox. It looks cool. It sounds pretty good until we push it a little bit too far, obviously. Yeah. If it meets your needs, buy it. If it doesn't meet your requirements, yeah, well then don't buy it. I mean, but 180 Canadian is actually not bad considering it is Vox, and Vox is good stuff. But like I said, you can get these things used. I got mine used at Long McQuaid for 120. If you're in Canada, check with Long McQuaid and see if there's any more of them in the system anywhere that are used, and what kind of prices. Because prices do vary too on, you know, that sort of thing. But I'm not complaining at 120. Definitely wouldn't be complaining too much either at 180, just because I like Vox stuff, you know, and they do make quality stuff, so I'm pretty good with that too. Anyways, we want to do star ratings. I know everybody wants these things. I would have to say that I wish I could crank it a little bit louder before it went wacky for too much, you know. It's getting overdriven, right? But otherwise, I mean, it's good. And for my requirements, that's the thing, and for the amount of volume level I'm going to use on average, I have to put it into my perspectives, right? So I'm going to have to say I would like to put this at a solid 4 out of 5. I think it is definitely a really good amp. You can't overdrive that gain too much without breaking up your mudbucker pickup, or like your neck pickup. I don't know how it's going to respond on a bridge pickup until I try. When I do though, that may or may not change the score. It's not going to change the pricing though. For 120 used, it's a really awesome deal. For 180, it's a good price new. That is not going to change in my opinion. Overall, it's built really well. It is Vox quality through and through. You know, I definitely really love their gear and I trust it. I've played on other Vox big guitar amps like tube amps and stuff, and I really like them too. I just can't afford that stuff right now. Even for the features it has, it's fine. You know, no issues there. But the thing that, you know, I wish it could go a little bit louder before it starts to break up on me. You know, that's one thing I would like. Even with a humbucker in the neck, I think it should have been able to go a little bit more before the breakup happens. So we're not going to be able to crank the snot out of this thing. It's going to be a feedback and grrrble mess, as you heard. So yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at with it. So that's 4 out of 5 for me. But still, with that score, I still recommend it either way. Just don't crank the snot out of the thing, because yeah, it ain't going to go well. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.